And welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. Now, did you know that the octagon in the UFC was inspired by none other than the famous Chuck Norris? According to the List 25, Jason Custon was inspired by the 1980s film The Octagon, starring our favorite redhead. So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Bob Fam 101, with my good friend and co-host Cam, aka Noticed_Cam.
Howdy, y'all.
So let's get down to talking about some sports. We haven't done this in a while because there hasn't really been too much sports news that was too urgent. But here we are now doing it. We're going to get started with the UFC. There was a big grudge match fight, UFC 272, between Colby Chaos Covington and Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Cam, me and you, we watched the fight together. What did you think of the fight?
I'm gonna give it round by round. I thought it was some people are saying it was boring, but really, I think a lot of those people were just Colby haters, to be honest. I mean, that's the thing about mixed martial arts that I hate that people say is when they're like, "Oh, too much wrestling." It's like, yeah, but that's what mixed martial arts is. I mean, it's kind of being dominant at something. And I mean, you know what they say? They say like, I think a guy is more dangerous that practices a move 1,000 times than practicing a few moves, a lot of moves, a couple times, like I think that, if you can use it to your advantage, I mean, it's just like Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall, he's a great fighter, and he's really good at getting your leg and putting you in a leg lock. And he's actually had 4 wins by that in UFC. So it's like, if it ain't broke, don't stop it. Why not? Why would you? I mean, I think it's a great tactic, and that's all what UFC is about. If we only had stand up and a few ground time, it would be the lamest thing ever. It's like practically boxing at that point with just kicks. Um, but in round one, I definitely thought Colby won. It was funny. Mike was right. He said Masvidal was going to try to do something like he did to Ben Askren with like the flying knee. He came out there with like a jumping kick, which failed horribly. By the way, I would just like to say that was bad. And then, they were kind of just testing each other out in the first round, but, they were actually kind of landing some big shots on each other. I mean, Colby was definitely throwing some big haymakers out there for sure. I mean, maybe a little wider than they should have been, but, he got the job done in the first round. I definitely think that he had that. And then the second round, I mean, it was kind of the same thing, a little bit more aggression. These guys are throwing a couple punches back and forth. Colby took him to the ground, dominated. I mean, that's all it really was. He got him in a couple chokes throughout the whole fight. Because I thought, honestly, personally, I thought it was going to be a round 2 submission, and he was going to put him to sleep. But he just could not lock it in. I don't know what it was, but I don't think maybe he was comfortable doing the move. Just something was off, and that I couldn't see maybe. Sometimes at certain points, the angle of him trying to get the guillotine was pretty bad. Or no, was that the guillotine or was that the rear naked choke?
It was a rear naked.
Rear naked. Okay. See, I get mine mixed up. Yeah, the rear naked choke. And so the second round, Colby still dominated. And then I will say though, Colby was kind of getting a little wild. Both of them were. They were both punching each other in the back of the head a couple of times. Like a lot. Like I remember Masvidal was elbowing him in the back of the head more than once. And then Colby got in trouble for actually punching him. Herb Dean, great ref by the way, let Colby know. And then it was later in round 2 or 3 that he accidentally poked him in the eye, Masvidal in the eye, and that caused him some points, I'm sure. And then third round, see, now this is where it got tricky. Third round and fourth round were probably the hardest decision ones for me of who won, because it was pretty close, honestly, for like a hot minute there. Colby was still taking him on the ground, but honestly, I will give this to Masvidal. His takedown defense has gotten significantly better, and he was not wrong when he said he was going to train for takedowns and submission defense because he was doing a great job. Because I just didn't think he had it in him, but he did. Which third round, I did give it to Colby, but I thought it could have went to Masvidal too. And then fourth round was a scary round. Let me tell you, me and Mike were on our seats because Colby got dropped for sure. Which we were rooting for Colby, but I'm not really biased. I like Masvidal too. He's not a bad guy. I definitely could say though that like Masvidal is falling into that trap of what Colby does with mind games wise, and he was definitely eating it all up for sure, and that was pretty funny. But you know, fourth round, it was a little scary because he hit him a couple times. He got some good punches in there in the beginning, but it was near the end, I believe, or maybe it was mid round that he came with a right and just completely caught Colby. I mean, if you could see the slow mo of it, it was a nasty punch. And it dropped him, but Colby got back up, and you could tell he was a little weary for a minute, but overall, it's still a good round. I actually gave that round to Masvidal. I definitely thought Masvidal had a little bit more punches in there and dominated a little bit more. And then fifth round, I mean, all Colby had to do really was just take him down and not let him really beat the crap out of him on the stand up, and he did his job. And near the end, it's funny, after the fight was over, they were still trying to fight each other. Like, Masvidal was over there talking crap, Colby was talking crap, and it's kind of funny. It reminds me of when Conor McGregor was out there down on the octagon and was like talking to Poirier, saying like all the trash talk. I'm not gonna say what he said. Everybody's heard the infamous line, I feel like. Yeah, so definitely some beef behind them, but overall it was a good fight. Congrats to Colby. I wonder who they're gonna have next. He said he wants Dustin Poirier. I think that would be a good fight, but Poirier said it's on site if he sees Colby. He says he's not gonna fight him in the octagon. He says he's gonna, if he ever sees him, he might kill that man. And I'm like, I don't know, Dustin. I'm like, I think you should fight him now. You're talking all this smack. Colby even called you out. Now you gotta fight him. I mean, at this point,
Right.
But I will say, if I don't know who would win that, because Dustin Poirier. I'm gonna go off of a mini side right here. Dustin Poirier's got some good defense, and he's actually pretty decent on the ground, and he's really good on stand up. I mean, his fists are just elite. But Colby's a world class wrestler. I mean, he's one of a kind. He's one of the best welterweights. I just don't see. I don't know. Honestly, it's a tough one. It just depends on how it goes. I guess. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'd say Dustin still wins though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good fight. Pretty much what I was expecting, except they were a little more controlled. Obviously, Colby, he had a couple of shots where he was really out of control. Like, you could tell he was really trying to hit Jorge as much as he could, and Jorge was a little bit out of control. There were a lot of illegal hits, specifically on Jorge. He got a couple, and I noticed it immediately. So I don't know why Herb Dean didn't comment on Jorge, but he commented only on Colby. But I understand also with Colby hitting him in the nuts and the supposed eye poke, even though I didn't see it.
I forgot that.
So I guess that was why, but not really too much for me to add with the whole fighting analysis, because Cam practically said everything that I was saying. If I were to go by rounds, the first two rounds definitely went to Colby. The second round was a little more even. I feel like Masvidal started to step it up a little bit more, but it still wasn't enough. Third round, I could see where you would get it to either of them. I don't know who I would have given it to. Fourth round, I think I would go with Masvidal, because he escaped a lot of Colby's submission attempts, and he rocked him with that punch, which it looked similar to the punch where Usman broke his jaw, just by the whole angle with his face going around everywhere. And then the fifth round, obviously Colby, he completely dominated in that round. So obviously Colby was going to win by unanimous decision, and I picked him to win in unanimous decision, just judging by the pattern in his last few fights. So congrats to Colby. He's probably my favorite fighter in the UFC. You can hate me all you want for that, but I love that man's attitude. He tries to sell the fights, and at the end of the day, he actually seems like a good guy when he's not trying to sell the fight. He just wants to get himself more money and the other fighter more money. So you got to respect that. And with him being a great fighter and wrestler. So overall, it was a pretty solid card, I'd say. That guy Moicano, he fought Rafael Dos Anjos. Much respect to that guy too. He was getting a beating, but he didn't quit. So
yeah, I joined Mike in the later rounds of that match to watch that fight. Kind of. I mean, it was like what, second, maybe third round.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, Moicano's a warrior. All right, he went on there on 6 days' notice. He got his butt whooped, and he was still hanging and holding his own. I think it would be a really good fight if he had a chance to practice and train as much as
Right.
he would have on a normal fight. And even though he got his butt whooped, he still was fighting back, especially in that last round. He gave his boxing is crazy. Rafael dos Anjos, he got hit a couple of times, and then it was kind of funny. He was heated though after the match. Moicano was heated.
And I
Like
don't
the
blame
guy was
him.
trying to fix his face, and he pushed him off and everything. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I would have been mad too, but I hope he gets another chance.
Yeah.
Um, because he definitely deserves it. Maybe not against Dos Anjos, but somebody.
Nah, I want them to run it back with Dos Anjos, and if Moicano can get the training, I would like to see if he's that much of a warrior on 6 days' notice and at getting his face completely beat in. I'd like to see him completely trained.
Yeah. And then last thing I'm gonna say about the whole UFC subject is let us know if you want us to talk more about this. This type of stuff. I mean, there's also fight nights, and then there's like those big events. I mean, just let us know.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments.
I think the last thing I want to say about the whole fight card is, this was definitely a top three rivalry in UFC history. These guys, they knew each other so well. They were best friends, roommates, and it's sad to see them going at each other like this, but that's just the name of the sport. And Jorge Masvidal, he looked like an idiot in the press conferences because he wasn't doing like what Khabib did with Conor, and Khabib shut his mouth and let his skill do the talking. Jorge looked like he was upset at Colby, and he didn't have anything to back up what Colby was claiming against him, and he just kept saying stupid claims, and Colby would back his claims up, but Jorge wouldn't. He would just be like, "Shut the f up, Colby," or "you stupid female dog." Just overall, I was not really impressed with Masvidal's talking skill. His fighting was decent. I think he could have done a little better, but definitely glad that Colby won for sure.
Yeah, okay. Last thing. I mean, I don't know if I would go as far to say top three rivalries in UFC. I mean, it's a big rivalry, but I want to go there. And then I would also like to say it's kind of funny how the security presence when these two guys were going against each other was crazy. At the press conference, I think I counted about like 4 police officers, 2 security guys, Dana White. I mean, like it was horrible. And then honestly, I will say this though, he didn't really hold his emotions well, but he did seem more focused in the fight than Colby did. Colby at some point did look like I think it was like third round. He looked like he started fighting with emotion a little bit more,
True.
letting it get in the way.
I guess he knew he was winning and he was getting excited. That's really
Man,
all I could think about because that dude's cardio is insane. But
oh yeah.
let's get into the NFL now. So the Steelers hire Brian Flores as their defensive assistant linebacker coach. Not a bad move for the Steelers. Obviously, Flores, he did really well in Miami, and they fired him for a really stupid reason. So I like to see him getting a job there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I think Brian Flores is not he's not a bad coach, honestly. I mean, if you look at his resume and all he's done, he's not a bad coach. I definitely think it's an upgrade for the Steelers because I mean, I don't like the Steelers, but they need help. Like their team is struggling. Like I'd say these past like 3 years, maybe they've definitely had some tougher seasons than they're usually used to.
Right. I mean, they can make it to the playoffs, but the key is to make it far, not to lose in the first round.
I don't know. I will tell you what that division used to suck. It used to be the Steelers would win it every year, but
Right.
now I mean you got like Baltimore. They got a good team. The Browns are coming up. I mean they got some great players from Myles Garrett to Nick Chubb. I'm not going to say Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, but Baker Mayfield underperformed this past season. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me wrong.
Really
And then the Bengals, they just made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, you got a lot of young guys with a lot of talent. I mean, Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, excuse me, Jesse Bates. I mean, all these guys, Jamar Chase. I mean, it's just such a good team. I mean, there's
Exactly.
a really good division there, and the Steelers got to learn how to keep up.
Right. I agree. The Cowboys are prioritizing re-signing Michael Gallup. Not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised. I don't know if it's in here, but I know the Commanders have been looking at maybe getting some wide receiver help. I just seen that today.
Hmm.
And one of their options was possibly getting Amari Cooper, which is, you guys didn't know, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Mike, do you have any predictions on what team you think he could go to?
Yeah, this is the second time that I think we tried to get Amari Cooper, but when we tried, he re-signed with the Cowboys, and I guess the Cowboys weren't too impressed with him, and they decided, they're going to let him walk. So maybe I hope we can get Amari Cooper because I would like to get another receiver to pair with Terry because Curtis Samuel did not do crap. He was very injury prone and just overall did not do very good in the games that he actually played in. So I'd like maybe get Curtis for the slot because if Curtis can play like he did in Carolina, it would be good. But you need that wide receiver too, and I really hope that we can get Amari Cooper and make him the number 2 receiver. And let's hope they can get Deshaun Watson because he is the betting favorite for the Commanders. So I don't know
Yeah.
why he would want to come here, but you know what? I would gladly take him. If he's innocent, that is.
I mean, if I had to look at a team that could maybe get Amari Cooper as a good option, I honestly look at the Eagles. You got a young quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and they got a couple of wide receiver guys, but they really still need some help there. And a great guy to get would be Amari Cooper. I think that would upgrade their team so much. And
Right.
I mean, I think Jalen Hurts already has that young mentality, but he's also got a great QB mentality as well. And he knows how to function with the Eagles really well. So I think if they could get Amari Cooper and they could make him work with the same schedule, I think it'd be a game changer.
Right. Speaking of wide receivers, this is not because of free agency. This is actual news. Calvin Ridley has been suspended for, I think, the whole year this year for
Yep.
gambling trouble. He gambled on some of the games that the Falcons were playing in, which was kind of stupid. For one, the Falcons are not a good team to bet on, and for two, why are you betting on NFL games, man? That's really stupid. You're a player. You get paid as much as it is, and you lost practically your entire contract because he put in maybe 1,500 on a game on a parlay, and he ended up losing like 10 million.
Actually, it was 11.1 million.
Oh my God! Nice.
I will say though, it's kind of stupid with the league though because they really are chastising Calvin Ridley, and I'm like, but what about Ben Roethlisberger and when Deshaun Watson did the same thing?
Right.
They never did anything to those guys.
Right. True. If that's true what you're saying, then that you're speaking complete facts there.
I mean, they listen. I'm just saying, Ben Roethlisberger has had a lot of things that he's done that he's been accused of. But I mean, but some of those were kind of real. On his now, Deshaun, I think he is innocent with what the main thing that he's known about. But Ben, he's been known about a lot of stuff. He's gambled, and he's also had other things with females, and that's definitely. But the NFL even then didn't do what they did to him, how they did with Deshaun Watson. I mean, listen, I say this in every single sport there is. There's a double standard. I always say this. It doesn't matter if it's the UFC, if it's NASCAR, if it's baseball. It does not matter. There's a double standard. If you're a big time guy and you're making a lot of money, you're gonna get that league attraction. And yeah, you may be big for a while, but guess what? They're still gonna treat you like a king because you're one of their big prizes. Now, if you're a low end wide receiver, a low end shortstop, a mid to low UFC fighter, does not matter. They'll probably give you the rough end of the stick. It's just the way it goes. And it sucks and it's corrupt, but I think it's a dumb situation all around. And Calvin Ridley, that really sucks, man. Because I mean, They wonder why all these NFL guys, they say like 70% or something like that, or 60% of NFL players after retirement go broke.
Right.
And this is a great example. I mean, you can't spend it on all these objects and all
Gamble.
the flashy cars and this and that. I mean, I would love to see a NFL player save up their money and make something with it.
Right.
Like Michael Strahan, you know that guy?
Yeah.
Listen, that guy's a great guy. Dude, he has built up his money. He's made himself known. I mean, he did it the smartest way possible, and I really respect him for it. Calvin really though, like this is the dumb stuff that I'm talking about that you probably shouldn't do.
Right.
So yeah, that was just dumb on him. I hope he is okay though because he lost a lot of money.
Right. The Panthers are keeping tight end Ian Thomas on a 3-year, $16.5 million deal. Okay. Tyrann Mayhew or Matthew, I'm not sure, is going to test the waters this offseason. I'm a little surprised by that because I thought, he's doing pretty solid for the Chiefs. So that's not good if he doesn't re-sign with the Chiefs.
Oh wow, I don't even know where he would go.
I've heard like Commanders. I've seen a couple of different
Commanders
options
are
for him.
rebuilding, but like I will say this: the Commanders are rebuilding their team completely, but like there's no way they can get all these dudes on their team. It's just no way. I don't believe it.
Right. I mean,
Um.
you can go ahead.
Okay. I honestly, I'm trying to think of a good place you could go. Or like a place that like a team would want them. I could honestly, I don't know why, but I honestly could see him going to the Cowboys.
Hmm.
You already got Diggs there, and if you make even more of a threat and add him, I mean, you also got cap space now because of Amari Cooper's being gone. Unless you're looking for rookie talent, I think that he would be a good guy to get.
I mean, you can't forget about Micah Parsons too. That dude was insane last year.
Oh yeah, Michael Parsons. I didn't think about him. Yeah, he is a beast.
Right. Buccaneers Pro Bowl guard Ali Marpet has announced his retirement. People leaving the Buccaneers for retirement left and right. We got the Cardinals are giving wide receiver Andy Isabella permission to seek a trade. I did not know that you needed permission from a team to seek a trade, and also I don't know who Andy Isabella is.
I think it's like the secret trade. I mean, see, that's always like weird. I mean, it goes both ways, but I think when they mean secret trade, I mean it's just asking on the contract if, hey, would you maybe be looking to look to trade me to some other team? Because they
Yeah,
made that contract with them. So I always kind of knew this, but I mean, I think it is kind of dumb, but at the same time, it's better to ask to seek a trade than ask to get drops.
right. I mean, I'm used to the NBA where it's just like the Lakers and the Russell Westbrook have mutually agreed to find a trade destination, not like seek a trade. So
Yeah.
obviously, it's different in the NFL. It's different in most sports. Bills are open to signing Rob Gronkowski if he doesn't retire. That would be really good, even though Gronk is a little bit older. So it would be decent for the Bills, especially since they're
Yeah.
on the verge of being a near Super Bowl team. If the Chiefs or the Bengals don't stop them.
I still remember when Gronk retired because he didn't want to go to the Lions.
who
It's
would?
so
Who would want to go to the
sad.
Lions?
I mean, yeah, like look at Jared Goff. Look, no, I'm no offense, but that man looked depressed 2 weeks into being on the team.
Right.
I don't blame him. I mean, it's just like throwing your whole career away. I mean, look at it. Matthew Stafford was on that team for years, and now he's finally getting the credit he deserves just because on a different team. It's actually so upsetting.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess he could go that. That wouldn't be bad. I was gonna say, Matthew, how you say his name, whatever you want to call him. He could go to the Bills. I could see that.
I think that was actually an option. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got the Giants have approached Sterling Shepard about taking a significant pay cut, and if not, they will release him. The Giants are starting to make a lot of moves as they got one of the Buffalo Bills assistant GMs, I think, and he's starting to try to revamp the team a little bit. I don't know if I want to call it a rebuild, but he's definitely telling players to, take pay cuts. And Shepard, I think, is a good idea to take a pay cut because he was injured a lot last year and just he performed okay. I'd probably give him a pay cut. So we'll see what happens with that.
I will say I don't think Shepard's gonna stay.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't take the pay cut, they're going to release him.
Yeah, I think he's not gonna stay for that pay cut. I just don't think he's that type of guy. I mean, I just don't see it happening. Also, I would like to say Giants. Speaking of Giants making moves, I wonder, do you think they're gonna get rid of Daniel Jones?
I mean, they're looking for quarterbacks. I think they love Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
Daniel Jones can't hold on to the ball for his life.
He wasn't that bad last year with fumbles, I don't think. He really had a good season. I wouldn't say maybe a top 10 season, but I have to look at his stats compared to the other guys who are considered top 10. But he definitely had a much better season than he did a couple seasons ago.
Oh, speaking of fumbles and quarterback wise, so this isn't on the list by the way, but I wanted to bring this up because I thought this was crazy. So Mike, what's his name? The Pittsburgh quarterback. He's going to be the draft this year.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Thank you. I almost forgot his name for a minute. Well, I did. So Kenny Pickett. It's actually kind of embarrassing for him, but it's actually going around, and he might be losing draft stock because of this. His hand length is like
Yeah.
8.5 inches, and that's like really small. They said there's only been like a few selected guys that have had hand size 8.5 inches and below, and it's really small. And they're saying how the ball was already big for him in college football, and how he had like 26 fumbles in his college football career or whatever. And now they're wondering. So now, because of his hands being small, they are actually taking down his draft stock. Probably like teams are not being as interested, which I think is so messed up and embarrassing.
I mean, I've heard that there's other teams who have gotten quarterbacks with small hands, and they did decent. I think Joe Burrow
I
was
mean,
even on that list too, right?
yes, he was. And the only other person that's done really good in the league with 8.5 inches, was Michael Vick.
Yeah, and Michael Vick, prime Michael Vick before he went to jail was considered a great quarterback, like one of the best. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
sorry,
it's
you
that
go.
big of a deal personally.
Yeah, I will say that I'm not gonna say Kenny Pickett's as good as Michael Vick, but I could say where I could see where he resembles his play style.
Yeah, he's very run oriented. He can throw the ball well. Kenny
Throw
Pickett
on the
is
run.
probably the best player, or not player, the best quarterback in the draft. I feel like one of them at least.
Yeah, this draft this year is gonna be little not as good as previous drafts. I mean it's a little wonky, but it's whatever. They're just saying it's not gonna be as high as what they'd like.
Right. Let's see. We got the Chiefs are looking to re-sign Tyreek Hill. Why wouldn't they?
No surprise.
The Bills have given permission for Cole Beasley to seek a trade. Not a bad move, I guess. Beasley did all right, and I think they disagreed a lot with the COVID stuff. We're not going to get into that, but yeah, I don't know where really he could go. So we'll see what happens.
Seahawks.
Seahawks, that's not a bad pick. Aaron Rodgers is trying to decide whether he will play for the Packers, Steelers, Broncos, or Titans. Okay, guys, so a quick disclaimer. This part of the video was made before the Rodgers signing with Green Bay and also the Russell Wilson getting traded thing. So we will give our opinions on that in the next sports episode. So the Titans, they said that they were going to keep Ryan Tannehill unless they pull, Brooklyn Nets and, completely say, screw that and go with Aaron Rodgers, which I think would be the best move. And they could be a Super Bowl contender with that. But if they don't go with Aaron Rodgers, I feel like the best pick for him would be either the Packers or the Steelers. I'm not too sure of the hype with the Broncos, even though I was thinking about this the other day. I was wondering why Brady would go to Tampa and then he turned them into a Super Bowl contender when, they were crappy. So you never know what will happen with that, but I just personally wouldn't pick him for the
If I
Broncos.
was, yeah, if I was the Broncos right now, I would 100% be looking for wide receivers and trying to get Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I would try to get a good wide receiver threat and Aaron Rodgers and leave it at that. I mean, like right now, Amari Cooper's on the list. Take Amari Cooper. Get Aaron Rodgers and Amari Cooper. I mean, fight for your best to get them both. And promise Amari Cooper, listen, if you stay with us, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers on here. And if we get Aaron Rodgers on here, that's going to be a good duo. He's going to be looking for you a lot. You're going to be our main wide receiver. You're going to be our number one guy. I mean, you got to make business. And this is like the biggest chance for the Broncos. I mean, they haven't had a good season since Peyton Manning.
Yep.
So they need a good quarterback, and they need to do some big time money moves here. They have a lot of cap space. This is the time to take what you can get.
On it. I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you. So moving on to the NBA, LeBron James.
No, basketball. I mean baseball. Sorry.
Oh,
baseball?
My fault. I forgot about baseball news since they were in the lockout, but Cam has some now. So go ahead.
I know, right? It's rare. The MLB and MLBPA, Players Association, agreed to ban shifts, implement a pitch clock, and make bases larger in 2023. My opinion on this, the pitch clock is understandable to a certain extent, but at the same time, I feel like, a pitcher's got to be focused, and I don't know how I feel on that. It just depends on how fast it is. If it goes way too fast, I think that's stupid, and I wonder how many pitchers it's going to actually test. I mean, pitchers are already going through hell. I mean, if you look at it, let's be honest, they've been getting absolutely bombarded by the umpires with tar and sticky stuff, or whatever you want to call it. And it's not tar, sticky stuff. And, that's been a problem. I mean, they've had some of their gloves taken away because they can't know if it's a foreign substance or not on it, which is stupid. Now you're going to add a pitch clock, which is going to change things even more. And then MLB also admitted that they changed the weight of the balls during the season, which is what caused a lot of pitchers to have arm problems, like Tyler Glasnow, and how he completely messed up his arm and he's had to get surgery on it. So I mean, the MLB really has screwed pitchers these past seasons. So I mean, I don't know what they're just digging themselves a grave at this point. And then, but making bases larger in 2023, honestly, kind of understandable. I could see how guys miss him. I mean, it happens. Like just this past season, for the Pirates, a guy made a home run and he didn't touch any of the bases, and because he didn't touch all the bases and just home plate, he didn't get it counted.
It's this hard the other way. Does it stay fair? It is gone. It hit the pole. An opposite field home run for Key Brian Hayes. Keep doing it.
Wow. One of the toughest pitchers in the league. And Hayes takes him right down the line.
Unbelievably aggressive stage management. What? Called a foul? He did miss first. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of partly his fault, but at the same time, it could be maybe the base is larger. It's not a big thing to me. And then to ban shifts, it's not too big of a deal to me, honestly. I don't really mind that. You got any opinions on it, Mike?
The pitch clock, I think, is a decent idea. I think they're trying to make the game go by a little faster. So that's not a terrible idea. Plus, the NBA, that has the shot clock, and the NFL has the play clock. So it's not too bad of an idea. Making the bases larger, I'm a little neutral on. If what you're talking about is true, with they can miss the base really easily, then yeah, make it. That's fair. And the shifting thing, I'm not entirely too sure because I don't think it's too big of a deal. Obviously, it's screwing up the classic rules of baseball, just like the pitch clock. But I don't care about it as much, and I think it's going to cause more runs to be scored as well.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's both a good and a bad thing, I guess.
yeah. I'll also say, to the bases being larger, I wonder if it would be easier to steal though, and like maybe slide, and you might be able to touch it better. Like if it's bigger, I don't know if they're gonna make it wider or what. I mean, I imagine they will. So I wonder if that's gonna create problems too. They may
Yeah,
not though.
that's really got
Um,
to test the baseman's reaction time, depending on how
yeah.
big the bases are going to be. That is.
So us being desperate for baseball news, especially me, something that I did find that I thought was kind of just interesting. I'm gonna murder this probably, but it's okay. The Kalamazoo Growlers of the Northwoods League have banned Rob Manfred for life from their games. Um, you know, I would do the same if I wasn't in an MLB team. Manfred's clearly shown his stubbornness and ignorance. Uh, and I don't know. I really feel like he just shows that how much he doesn't really care for the players, and he's in it for the money. And I don't know if how much he really does love the sport of baseball, but definitely just don't like Manfred. I mean, I didn't really agree with this guy ever. I always thought some of the stuff he said was stupid, but he really just lost all my respect. And it doesn't help that his head looks like a flat tire. So, Manfred, I definitely have my problems with him. I mean, it just annoys me. It looks like what his head looks like. Matter of fact, his head kind of looks like the Apple logo. It just have a bite taken out of it. He's got like a weird fat marshmallow looking head. I just can't stand this guy. And he's got like these pointy ears, looking like an elf and stuff.
Yeah.
I just can't take it.
Yeah, I mean, Manfred is an idiot. This shouldn't have happened if he had just listened to the players. I mean, the MLB is really, really bad at discussing this stuff with the players. They want to play and they want to play fairly. And, the MLB, they don't care. They just want money, and they're losing money because they had to cancel the first couple of regular season series. So, yeah, Manfred is definitely an idiot. I would do the same thing as if I were a team, but it's obviously not going to help the lockout.
Yeah. I will say, so this is in other news, but it also is going to help me talk about something else that I've mentioned before, but I really want to get this across because it's really starting to become a reality. Bryce Harper, he actually put on his story at the and this is I think the Japan League, Yomiuri Giants, you up? Got some time to kill, and it's a a picture of him photoshopped with Tokyo, it's Tokyo. By the way, like that's where the league is, and it's of him in like the Giants outfit or whatever for the team. And basically, I just want to talk about this. I mean, first of all, if he actually does go there, that would be pretty crazy. But we're actually seeing a lot of players shift to these leagues. There's been a couple of MLB players that have went to the Tokyo, Japan, whatever league, and there's also some players that have been to like the Dominican Republic League. I mean, there's some certain places that where these guys are trying to start a new place to fit in. And I think that, the MLB is really going to start hurting if big guys realize, let's go somewhere else. I mean, clearly they don't care about us enough. And it's really going to start becoming a reality if they don't get something in check sooner than later. And plus, players want to play and they want money. I mean, it's just all around. It's crazy. And plus, I mean, the offseason kind of got ruined for MLB teams. So that also kind of ruins the whole thing. I mean, I don't really think we're gonna have a 2022 season, and if we are, it's gonna be so late that fans are just gonna be mad at Manfred and burnt out. Where it's like we waited all this time, we're not even gonna get a full season. The off season was screwed. Everything about it was screwed. Players aren't gonna be as happy, I imagine. I mean, it's just gonna be a crap fest, in my opinion. So I think they should just leave 2022 shut down. I mean, it sucks to say, but I just can't imagine baseball being the same this year.
Right.
And I don't know. I wish like the XFL.
Yeah.
I wish they could make like an XBL baseball league, because this is the time for any baseball league that wants to make it big in America to invest all your money, make these teams, do whatever you can, because right now is your shot to get some big time things and get some action going while the biggest baseball company in the world is shut down.
Exactly. I agree
I mean,
with
I wish
that.
someone would capitalize on this. It makes me mad.
Right. I mean, Japan, that's a big baseball market. Same with Korea, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. So that's good for Bryce that, he's trying to go to another league. I think that's going to send a message to the MLB. And we need more big stars like Mike Trout, for example, to do something similar to that.
Yes, I think, and then maybe not even going to the team, but maybe just saying that and really scaring Manfred, because those are some of the big time players. I mean, obviously this guy's he's still stuck in his ways. You guys got to find a way to get a tactic. We'll give him a little shook.
Right. If we could get like Tatis, Otani, Harper, Trout, there's a couple other people I'm probably missing, but if we could just get like all the best baseball players to do that, that would be great.
Yes. In other news, the Players Association. So this was a couple days old, but the lockout's still going on, and they're expected to vote no on the MLB's best and final offer, which they said no. I mean, it was the worst offer I think I've ever heard in my life. So it is still delaying and shortening this 2022 season. They'll come back to meet each other in I think 2 weeks, and they don't make a deal then. It's just gonna push it back more and more. And I mean, it's just gonna suck.
Yeah, again, MLB is cheap. What can you really say about it?
Yep, it's like the best way to look at it in that area. And the last thing is, this is Dan Clark Sports, and I just want to say this guy just had a great thing to me that I just really love what he said. So he said it. He said, "Why the bleep aren't MLB and MLBPA refs meeting all day every day until a deal is made? The lack of effort that infuriates me
Right.
and
Exactly.
fans."
Exactly.
And he just said it so well. I mean, he said it so well. I mean, I'm not even mad at it. I hope, I hope this man gets his paycheck, because it's just so real. It's so true. I mean, it's like, I can't tell if the Players Association wants it, and I don't know if MLB just doesn't care, but it's like, you guys need to learn to just come up with something. I mean, MLB needs to stop being so stubborn, and the MLBPA, the Players Association really needs to start coming at the neck of Manfred and really poking the tiger. I mean, they got to do something.
Yeah, I think they are doing a decent job at it. I know that maybe they need to try a little bit harder, but they just want to play the game, and they're doing a pretty good job trying to negotiate with this clown.
Yeah,
They're trying. It's the MLB, I think, that's really not doing good. But
I imagine.
yeah, let's move on to the NBA. We got LeBron James' agency is not happy with Rob Pelinka. Interesting. Chris Paul suffered a right thumb avulation fracture and will be re-evaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. There was a lot of news, so that will probably be in like 4 or 5 weeks now. Next up, we got Goran Dragic. He got bought out by, I believe, the Spurs and signed with the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, Brooklyn is the retirement home in the East, so I am not surprised.
Yeah, no surprise there.
We got guard Javon Carter signs with the Milwaukee Bucks. I hear that he's not really that good, so that's not that great of a move for the Bucks.
No, that was just wasted money right there.
Right. Let's see. We got DeMarcus Cousins signs a contract with the Nuggets for the rest of the season. Good. Glad to hear DeMarcus Cousins actually staying on a team instead of getting released after his 10-day.
Yeah, good, DeMarcus. It's been a minute since I've seen you, man.
We got
Proud of you.
De'Aaron Fox reportedly scammed people at a 105.5 1.5 million. Excuse me, I cannot talk. I'm tired. For an NFT scam. These NFT scams, they're getting wild, and that's really stupid to try to scam people out of over $1 million, especially when you're an NBA player and a pretty solid one at that, and you're getting paid a lot of money. So screw you, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I wish the league could like punish you on that. Like take 1.5 million out of your paycheck.
Facts. Guard Tomas Satoransky has re-signed with the Washington Wizards. This is his second stint with them after the Spurs bought him out. Not a bad move. Satoransky, I'm a little neutral with. He's not that great of a player, but he's not a good player. So I like to see somebody like him come back to the team.
I will say he's like one of those guys where he'll perform good when he needs to.
Right.
He gets the job done.
Yeah, basically, especially when they have no real point guard besides him and Neto and Ish Smith, and now Bradley Beal's hurt, and he's out for the season. So it's good to have that with the remainder of this season, like one more month or so to go. Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray should be back for the playoffs. That is going to be a huge help for Denver with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter. He needs to work more on his scoring because he's not worth his contract right now. But Jamal Murray, definitely, I would love to see him come back, and that would be a big help for the Nuggets.
Oh, yeah, they definitely needed him back. They were hurting for a while. And, yeah, I agree with you. Porter definitely needs to step his game up again if he wants to ever stay on the Nuggets because he's definitely been underperforming recently.
Isaiah Thomas signs a 10-day contract with the Hornets. Don't know really how I feel about this. He's trying really hard to get back into the league, and nothing's really worked for him. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm hoping Thomas can get something, man. He's just like the OG, and he's like a short guy, and I feel like short guys don't get enough love in the NBA,
Yep.
And plus, like, he used to be good, and he used to be saucing on everybody. I'm just hoping he can try to get back to what he used to be.
Right. Excuse me. The Lakers will try to trade Russell Westbrook. I think this is a good move because Russell Westbrook has not been performing very well. He's used to being the number one option or so, and I don't think he really fit with LeBron like they were hoping. And I'm not surprised this fell through. A lot of super teams, these guys don't want to really work with the other guy, and they just want highlights. And Russell Westbrook, he does want what's best for the team, but he's just having a bad year. And
yes,
it's just not really working well with LeBron. So I think this is a good move. But Westbrook needs to stay on a team like he did with OKC for all those years.
A place I could see Westbrook going is like, honestly, this might be a stretch, but the Hawks.
Why? They got Trae Young.
I know, but you could put him at shooting guard.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that would work.
Listen, I could see. I don't know. I think I could see it. I could see it. What would you think he would go, Mike?
I don't know. Just any Clippers might be an option. They need a point guard. I would have said the Mavericks, but they got Spencer Dinwiddie, and he's actually performing well, surprisingly. So Clippers, I guess that's pretty much it. We got Devin Booker has entered the health and safety protocols. Wow, that's surprising. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, same. That's actually like kind of a rarity.
Right. Zion Williamson is showing improvement in his foot and will gradually progress to full exercise and basketball activities. Good. I'd really like to see Zion come back on the court. Definitely a great player.
Yes, agreed.
DeAndre Jordan signs with the Philadelphia 76ers after he cleared waivers after the Lakers released him. I think that's a good move for Philadelphia. You can use him as a backup center, and that's more center help for them.
Yeah, I think that honestly, I don't think it was a bad idea. I mean, I don't, Jordan's still he's a good backup center from in my opinion. I mean, I think he can be a starter, but good idea.
We got OG Anunoby will be sidelined at least one more week due to a fractured finger. Joe Harris will undergo season-ending surgery. Not good for the Nets.
That sucks.
And Nick Stauskas is signing a 2-year deal with the Boston Celtics. I forgot that man existed in the league.
I haven't heard that name in a while, dude. What happened to him?
Yeah, I know, right? All right, so next topic, college basketball. The tournament is coming up soon. It's March. The conference tournaments, I think, are starting up this week. So I'll be watching the Big Ten one for Maryland, even though I know we are not going to do anything because Maryland is a disappointment. Let's see. Let's talk about some of the upsets that have been happening, though. We got unranked Nebraska beating number 10 Wisconsin. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Hold on. I'm looking for the more upsets. We got UCLA. I don't know if you can count this really as a big upset, but UCLA beats number 16 USC 75-68. We got Michigan upsetting number 23 Ohio State 75-69, and Michigan is actually under fire for what happened with Juwan Howard. He started a fight with an assistant coach.
Over immediately to shake hands. Now he's going to get in the line. Interesting finish here. 77. Oh, see, and they're going at it. Oh, yeah. Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. And Juwan Howard just threw a right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene.
Oh, my God.
Trying to get separated, and there's no doubt it all stems from the timeout by Greg Gard. Now, that's not an excuse for this, but that is what angered Juwan Howard.
For Nebraska, I believe, and he got suspended for the last few games of the regular season, which I feel like they should have suspended him for the entire season plus the tournaments if they make it to the big March Madness tournament, but definitely should have suspended him for the Big Ten tournament. I don't like Michigan, and I don't like Juwan Howard, and this gives me another reason to not like him.
I don't, Michigan, I don't have any opinion on them really, but Juwan Howard, I definitely lost respect for. And he should have got suspended for the rest of the season because I just think that he was completely childish. And that's my opinion on that.
We got Memphis beating number 14 Houston 75-61. We got the Tar Heels upsetting number 4 Duke 94-81 in Coach K's final home game. That was nice to see, and all the Duke fans, they were crying. There were like girls there that looked like they didn't know anything about basketball that were crying. You got all the frat boys painted in blue. They were just like swaying, all sad. I'd love to see it.
Avenging a defeat from earlier tonight. Holly Rowe is with a couple of Carolina stars of the night. Supposed to be a party, right? It was Coach K's last game here to Cameron.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't hate any of those teams really, but it was kind of funny seeing their faces. Like I mean, like they was like crying, like it had that hello darkness, my old friend, like type mood to it, bro. It was like, it was funny.
Yep. We got unranked actually, excuse me, Oklahoma State beating number 12 Texas Tech 52-51. We got okay, that's not an upset. Trying to look for more upsets here. No. Okay, we got Alabama getting upset yet again by LSU 80-77. We got the Tennessee Volunteers. Again, this is not too big of an upset, but we got Tennessee number 13 beating number 14 Arkansas 78-74. And then we got Texas A&M upsetting Alabama 87-71. Unranked
Wow,
A&M too.
what is it with Alabama and just losing to like these small schools this year? Or not small schools, but unranked schools.
Unranked schools, yeah. We got Creighton beating number 18 UConn 64-62. TCU upsets number 6 Kansas 74-64. And Nebraska upsets Ohio State 78-70. And finally, number 9 Providence and number 11 Villanova. Villanova upsets them 76-74. And now for the college basketball rankings going into the tournament so far. The AP poll. Gonzaga is number 1. I don't know why. They lost to a team 2 weeks ago by 10 points. St. Mary's, number 23, St. Mary's, by 10 points when they're the number 1 team. It should be Arizona at number 1 because I haven't seen them get upset as much as Gonzaga has. So that's very biased there. And I don't understand college basketball rankings. Arizona, speak of the devil, is number 2. Then we got Baylor number 3, Auburn number 4, Kentucky number 5, Kansas 6, Duke 7, Villanova 8, Purdue tied for 9th with Tennessee, 11th Providence, 12th Wisconsin, 13th UCLA, 14th Texas Tech, 15th Arkansas, 16th Illinois, 17th St. Mary's, 18th Houston, 19th Murray State, 20 UConn, 21 USC, 22 Texas, 23 Colorado State, 24 Iowa, and 25 UNC. So, all right.
Yeah, I will say the college basketball ranking system is so confusing to me.
And it's been confusing for years to me. I don't know why Gonzaga is still number 1, like I said, and they got upset by a team. They lost by, again, 10 points. And Auburn, they have a lot of upsets too. So, yeah, Auburn definitely should have not been number 1, but I think they got knocked off way too early. I would have knocked them off after they lost like 3 straight or something like that.
Yeah, and these aren't like real numbers, but just to give an example of like how confusing it can be sometimes, it's like, so let's just say 3 teams, okay? You could have a team, the first team, like the number 1 seed, in the country, whatever, in college basketball, will be like 23 and like 56, right? And then you'll have 2 teams behind them, and one team is like 43 and like 30 something, and they just got a big upset. Yet somehow they're still second, and then the last team can be like 50 wins and like 10 losses, and yet for some reason they're like 3rd seed. You're like, how? Where does this make sense?
Last time that I checked the records, Arizona was 2 games better than Gonzaga, so it's stupid. It's really, really stupid. But it will be an interesting tournament because I think it's going to come down to either Arizona, Auburn, Baylor, maybe Duke, maybe Kentucky, and maybe Purdue. But definitely Arizona, Baylor, and Auburn are my contenders.
Yeah, Baylor for sure. I definitely think Arizona, and I'm gonna say Gonzaga.
I mean, you can't count Auburn out, dude. Auburn's been really good besides losing a couple of times.
Yeah, but I don't want to count Auburn out, but at the same time, I don't know why, but I have that gut feeling that I just feel like they're gonna get upsetted.
Yeah, I could see that personally, but we'll see what happens. They haven't really been in the tournament too much, so there's definitely that inexperience factor.
Oh yeah, and I think when you're in the tournament, I mean, everything just antes up another 4 levels. I mean,
right.
Coaches treat this like it's really serious. I mean, it's like the biggest games that you're ever going to have, and people will put the media and whatever will put pressure on you. And some of those guys that haven't faced that before, it's going to be different for them. It's a different ballgame for Auburn.
Exactly. That's how it is. It's March. March is the biggest time of the year to be a college basketball or a basketball fan in general. It's very special. So, yeah,
Yes.
Let's get started with the top plays over the past weeks. So, coming in at number 10 is Trent Frazier, Ice's game.
And then number 9, Chucky Hepburn, game winner. Here's the clip.
5 seconds to go. Chucky Hepburn, Big Ten on the line.
In at number 8, DeMar DeRozan's clutch shot.
Here's DeRozan. Stops, fires. Got it.
Oh, man. Good offense right there. I mean, Bogdanovich did all you could do. He stayed in front of him.
At number 7, Tyler Perry, game winner.
5 seconds to go. Perry's open for 3. Oh,
Clip.
Number 6, Jared Puregun, Gian, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, stops goal after goalie got shuffled out.
And then number 5, Cade Cunningham and Isaiah Stewart team up for the block.
Turns to the basket, hesitates, puts it. Oh, it's rejected.
Well, the clip.
In at number 4, FSU game winner to upset Virginia.
The baseball pass. Cleveland the catch. Good if it goes. Oh, he hit it! He hit it! Matthew Cleveland wins it for the Noles!
I mean, this is remarkable. First of all, what a pass. Right on the money.
No doubt about it.
And number 3, Devin Booker, casual full court shot.
you know, why not? Little wind-up.
Here's the clip.
And at number 2, Tulsa full court shot to get an upset win, I believe.
Misses. Horn's got to go. 2 seconds on the clock. Last second heat. Oh my God! Jariah Horn is the hero.
And at number 1, drum roll, please.
1 of 2. The bench still standing. Adams going long. Morant. He hit it! John Morant, insanity! You gotta be kidding me.
John Morant, insane buzzer beater off Steven Adams, full court pass. Oh, I seen that. Yes. Good clip right there. Roll it up.
That is probably one of the best buzzer beaters I ever seen. That full court pass was perfect. And the way Josh shot the ball while being barely on balance and is awesome, man. Awesome.
Well, I'd like to say, yeah, it was a great execution because not only was John Morant having a great game, 50-point game, by the way, he also had an amazing pass by Steve Adams. I'll give him that completely. But he also caught the ball, and it's almost like he caught it like a mid-lob and then shot it mid in the air after catching it. It was weird.
Right.
Crazy.
But, yeah, I think that's going to close the video out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. We will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
You only calling out, you wanting what I think. All these women